Judge orders immediate seizure of Ivanka's passport after explosive courtroom revelation, and the atmosphere inside the courtroom shifted the moment the documents were placed before the bench. What began as a routine evidentiary hearing quickly transformed into something far more serious when prosecutors introduced a set of financial records they described as newly uncovered and materially significant. According to procedural summaries and accounts from those present, the submission of those documents triggered a chain reaction that ended with the judge issuing an order few in the room had expected to hear that day. The revelation did not come through dramatic testimony or raised voices. It came quietly through paper. Prosecutors presented what they characterized as internal financial documents tied to a network of accounts and property interests already under review. The documents reportedly included transaction summaries, authorization records, and internal communications referencing asset positioning during a period of heightened legal scrutiny. Their argument was precise. The material suggested a level of financial coordination and awareness that, in their view, justified immediate precautionary measures. The judge listened without interruption. As prosecutors outlined the timeline reflected in the documents, they emphasized patterns rather than isolated transactions. They described transfers occurring within narrow windows of time, adjustments to reporting structures, and internal references to maintaining flexibility in asset positioning. None of these elements, they acknowledged, proved wrongdoing on their own, but together, they argued they created a context requiring immediate judicial attention. Before we go deeper into what those documents allegedly revealed and why the judge moved so quickly after reviewing them, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps support detailed, dramatic breakdowns like this and ensures you don't miss the next major development as more filings emerge. Defense attorneys responded swiftly once prosecutors finished presenting. They argued that the documents reflected routine financial management within a complex organization. They emphasized that any transfers or adjustments were conducted transparently and within legal boundaries. Most importantly, they challenged the prosecution's interpretation of intent. According to them, the materials showed administrative processes, not strategic maneuvering designed to evade oversight. But the judge's concern centered on something else: certainty. According to the written order issued shortly after the hearing concluded, the court determined that maintaining clear jurisdictional control and ensuring immediate availability for further proceedings were essential given the new information introduced. The order states that the documents presented raised questions requiring prompt follow-up, including potential additional testimony and expanded review of related financial records. To preserve the court's ability to move quickly, the judge authorized temporary seizure of Ivanka's passport. The directive was explicit. Effective immediately, the passport was to be surrendered to court officers and held pending further review. The judge emphasized that the measure was not punitive, it was procedural. Its purpose was to ensure that all relevant parties remained fully accessible as the case entered what the court described as a heightened evidentiary phase. The courtroom fell silent when the order was read. Legal observers present noted that such measures are typically reserved for moments when the court believes proximity and availability are critical. While travel restrictions are not uncommon in complex cases, the timing of this decision, immediately following introduction of new documents, underscored the seriousness with which the judge viewed the revelation. According to procedural summaries, the documents presented included detailed records of account activity spanning several months. Some entries reportedly corresponded with dates when external inquiries were already underway. Prosecutors argued that aligning those timelines revealed patterns warranting closer examination. Defense attorneys countered that large organizations routinely adjust financial structures in response to evolving circumstances, and that coincidence should not be mistaken for coordination. The judge did not attempt to resolve that debate during the hearing. Instead, the court focused on maintaining control of the process while those questions are explored. In the written order, the judge stated that preserving jurisdiction and ensuring immediate availability for follow-up proceedings outweighed the inconvenience imposed by travel restrictions. The passport seizure, the order noted, would remain in effect until the court determined that such precaution was no longer necessary. Outside the courtroom, reactions were immediate. Supporters described the move as excessive, arguing that cooperation had been consistent and that there was no indication of any intent to avoid proceedings. Critics argued that courts routinely impose travel-related restrictions when new evidence introduces uncertainty about timing and coordination. Legal analysts emphasized that the measure does not imply guilt or predetermined outcome. It reflects judicial caution. Inside legal circles, attention quickly turned to the documents themselves. What exactly had prosecutors presented that prompted such a swift response? According to summaries included in the filing, the material included internal memoranda discussing asset positioning across multiple entities. These memoranda reportedly referenced maintaining flexibility during periods of review and ensuring that reporting remained consistent across jurisdictions. Prosecutors interpreted those references as evidence of strategic coordination. Defense attorneys described them as standard language used in financial planning. Another set of documents reportedly consisted of transaction logs showing movement between accounts associated with different holding structures. Prosecutors argued that the timing of those movements corresponded with key dates in the broader investigation. Defense attorneys responded that timing alone does not establish intent, and that the movements were consistent with normal operational needs. The judge acknowledged both perspectives, but emphasized the need for further clarity. According to the order, additional hearings will be scheduled to examine the documents in detail and to allow both sides to present expert analysis of the financial patterns identified. Until those hearings take place, the court determined that maintaining close jurisdictional control was essential. The passport seizure ensures that control. With international travel temporarily restricted, the court can schedule proceedings without concern for geographic complications. It can request additional testimony or documentation on short notice. It can maintain continuity as the evidentiary phase intensifies. For Ivanka's legal team, the immediate priority is navigating the implications of the order while preparing challenges. Motions seeking modification or reconsideration may be filed. They may argue that the restriction is unnecessary given prior compliance. The court will evaluate such requests based on the same factors that produced the initial decision: availability, stability, and the need for swift follow-up. Prosecutors, meanwhile, are expected to continue analyzing the documents presented and to request additional materials connected to them. The financial records introduced at the hearing are likely only part of a broader evidentiary picture. Each new piece of information will be assessed for relevance and context. The case has now entered a more intense phase, not because of dramatic accusations, but because of documentation, paper trails, timelines, internal communications. These elements often carry more weight than any single statement. They form narratives that must be examined carefully, piece by piece. The judge's decision to seize the passport reflects recognition of that complexity. It signals that the court anticipates further developments requiring immediate attention. It ensures that no logistical barriers will delay those developments. And it underscores the seriousness with which the newly introduced documents are being treated. As the proceedings continue, the focus will remain on what the financial records reveal and how they fit into the broader context of the case. Defense attorneys will challenge interpretations and provide alternative explanations. Prosecutors will refine their analysis and present additional evidence where available. The court will evaluate each argument within the structured environment it has now established. For now, the passport remains in court custody, a symbol not of conclusion, but of process, of a legal journey entering a phase where presence, availability, and clarity matter more than ever. And as that phase unfolds, every new filing, every new hearing, and every new piece of evidence will shape what comes next.